overall feeling pretty good about things there. Xiaofeng off to a good start. But overall, we are very even. And this is something, Quacks, that we kind of talked about before we got into the game during our breaks. But LNG, throughout their game so far, very, very passive. And whether that's because of Zika or Xiaofeng or whatever leadership, not really wanting to go for many fights. They love disengaging. They don't love going for bench stuff. As I say that, though, a little bit of skirmishing up here, as it's going to be Xiaosha knocked back with that seismic shove and getting chunked very low, forced to flash away. Baye kiting out nicely, but it's going to allow for Xiaofeng to at least pick up that first scrub. With Junho and Saber now joining the fray, they're going to secure another, so it's 1-for-1 overall. And now potential fight around the last one. Xiaofeng has the smite, so should be able to secure it.
Oh, look at the bot side. Oh, hang on.
Oh, Junho. He flashes in and goes in for the Cyclone, and it's going to be a little bit too far forward for Xiaosha. First blood picked up for LNG, but Xiaofeng now has to flash and use the Heartbreaker to get out, but he will survive. It's a double kill in for Haichao, and they're looking for Saber as well. He will go down. 3-0, and the Feats of Warfare have gone over to Team LNG. Actually end up baiting Junho with that Hex Flash and then finding that immediate hook back onto the Braum.
I also kind of question why Ultra Prime even went for this play in the first place, because obviously, you know, you lose the grubs, and then at that point, you're just hunting for a kill.
The jungle item enough. Yep. And so it will be the Herald going over, and maybe the sign that this dragon could go over to Ultra Prime. But LNG still in the lead. About 1,000 gold or so. Would not be opposed to wanting to fight this. And as I say that, a teleport has come in from Zika. He has the equalizer at rank 2 at this point, and the dragon is not taken very quickly. Weaver's Wall comes out. Zhuo gets stunned though, and does not land that initial dredge line as Zhang's already chunked down to 60% HP. Ultra Prime don't want to start this dragon just yet. Junho pops the Herald, maybe looking for a potential escape plan. Who's going to get into the pit first? It's going to be a dash over from Junho, but he got already chunked down to half. It's stolen away by Xiaofeng. And now the fight can begin in earnest as the equalizer has come out. Zhang goes in with the Herald, but he will drive it straight to his demise as LNG get a couple of kills back, as well as the dragon soul point.
It's so unfortunate there for Ultra Prime. They lose so much, and now Grapes, they're on a timer. That's soul point. They have got to make a play and fast. Otherwise, at the rate this game is going, a soul feels like a foregone conclusion as, we're going to just go back into the replay, and it was the thinnest of margins, but still, the Viego acquires the Drake, even if it is to his own death. We in the jungler department like to call that work.
And look at the equalizer.
But crucially now, it is going to be Otacon spawning in about 10 seconds. It's going to be on that top side. And you can already see Ultra Prime, they're going to try and be first to the punch this time.
This one, popping the Ghost. It looks like Zhuo's going to go super aggressive here. Depth charge on top of the equalizer with the Dawning Shadow on top. But it's not enough to take Baye down. And here goes Zhang on the flank. Already Zhuo has gone down. But Zika is hunting the rest of Ultra Prime as they loom deviously around that Otacon.
They do indeed, but there were a lot of ultimates expended by LNG, not to mention they lost Zhuo, who does have teleports, so he should be able to, come back to the fight, but still, those R keys not going to be available for a while. So LNG, they're just saying, screw the Otacon, let's abandon it, let's go for this mid turret instead. We don't have the power to really fight this. Slowly but surely, they're going to be gravitating toward that part of the map. Haichao, though, has the luxury of staying a bit further behind, as he does have that Weaver's Wall. Zika
was overheated, so actually going to be in some trouble. Has to flash away from Zhang. But now he gets exhausted. The third proc leader work lands. There's the Cyclone as well. Zika just might be taken down under his own turret. And that is not a good play here. But the response will be that Otacon taken down by LNG. But you're going to say that's all right here for UP because you are continuing to scale the game out. You're going to deny that soul and get Baye closer to 225.
Absolutely. You drag the game out an extra 5 minutes at the very least for Baye on the Smolder. The question is, who will be the first to engage? I imagine Zhuo, who's been so active with these dredge lines, is going to look for an opportunity onto Saber. You can see he's fishing. He's trying to hug that topside wall to get an angle onto the backline. He doesn't want to hook in Junho. He doesn't want to hook in Xiaojia, but Ultra Prime are playing this very smartly position-wise.
Weaver's Wall separating everybody, gives maybe LNG a good opportunity to try to burst down the dragon. The seismic shove lands on it too, but here comes the mom. It makes LNG kite away. Dawning Shadow over the top, but Baye is able to pick out the first kill of the fight. But Xiaofeng has now gotten a reset as well, and he transforms into the Wukong body. Zika is overheated. Fish one taken very low, nearly getting executed before he issues out the piercing light to heal himself right back up. One more Q from Baye could secure himself an easy double kill, but instead the dragon is going to be the focus. Who's going to get the soul? It'll be LNG to secure it, and now they can win the fight. Baye goes down. Jung will fall. Only Saber and Xiaoxia will live as LNG get their prize and can now go to Baron.
And at the end of the day, Junao is your main engage. He puts himself on the front lines. But the problem with being on the front lines is you are most likely to die. You lose your jungler at a pivotal moment in this game. He's not there to secure the dragon for you. You're going to lose out on that. You're going to lose out on the team fight. And to make matters extra worse, Grapes, the Baron will be the cherry on top for LNG.
We stalled out, waiting for this dragon to spawn once again. Quacks and LNG get that. They get the Otacon. Maybe took them a little bit longer than they wanted, but they win this team fight and put themselves in a great position to run away with this first game. Some good engages, some good poke from Haichao. And I thought that honestly Ultra Prime had a good chance.
I mean, Junao honestly just goes way too far here. Sure, the dummy is good, but Xiaofeng, the follow-up to just make sure that he can't get away, like you said, transforms into the Wukong body. Even if you get that Cyclone down, even if you actually survive that, it feels so difficult for you to re-enter the fight as the Wukong with how healthy these LNG members are. They just run over the rest of the Ultra Prime members. And it's a huge advantage, like you said, for them. Only 4,000 gold up, but still the objectives account for way more than 4,000 gold.
And they can have even more added to that lead with all the standing gold that still exists on the map in the form of these inner turrets. Zhang going forward with the needlework, trying to chunk out this wave at the very least and force LNG back. But things become much harder for this composition of play of Ultra Prime now that the Baron buff minions are going to continue to allow for LNG to push, and also the Mountain Soul means that just that little extra piece of damage is going to be needed for those executes to start to land.
And the problem is they're just pushing down all in one lane. And Smolder now, even though you have Baron and Power minions, Smolder is really good at clearing the waves. Annie as well is pretty good at clearing the waves. You need to have that 4-1 thread, and LNG realized that, but you can already see Jiang there to counter Zika. So it will be a bit of a delayed play on the Baron, but nonetheless, they should be able to squeeze UP tighter and tighter with this play.
Juno dashes forward, not using the Cyclone, actually baiting out the Dawning Shadow of Fishone, who is playing a little bit more on the defensive side. As regardless of the wave clear, LNG able to secure 2 of the 3 inner turrets in both mid and bottom lane. Only top lane does remain up. Baron buff still around for 50 seconds or so. And we're starting to get to the point, Quacks, where the siege of LNG is starting to come to play.
At the end of the day, LNG just really want to try and siege so that, around, less than 3 minutes until that Elder spawns, they want to prevent as much jockeying between these two teams as possible around that.
Xiaoxia gets hit by one seismic shove, and then the Heartbreaker will execute, but look at the back line. That is Fish one down. A 2-kill 1K shutdown for
Not
John.
again.
Xiaofeng is still alive in the transform Viego body. He will go and take the Gwen down, but Baye's got a couple of executes as well. A triple kill already for the Viego, looking for the quad, and he gets it on a Baye. It looked like almost an opportunity for Ultra Prime, but the Viego will live, Zika will survive, and it's still 2 men up here for LNG.
I was getting Thunder Talk versus LGD Gaming. Game 2 flashbacks there for a minute, Grapes, but luckily, Xiaofeng manages to save his team. The top side prevails, lives through the engage from Ultra Prime, and let's actually take a look at how that happened again. So again, it comes in the form of not just one TP, but to Saber lands a massive Tibbers onto the squishy members of LNG. And initially you're thinking it's good, but I think the big difference maker is just the fact that Xiaofeng is so strong on this Viego, manages to get the antibody, stuns, manages to take those resets, and runs away with the fight, saves his team. from a potentially disastrous fate, but and hopefully this is their last stand, and this is going to be the fight that I think determines who will win game 1.
Ooh, seismic shove. It lands on Abaye. That's a Smolder at half HP. Right when the Elder Dragon was about to spawn. I was going to say, if Ultra Prime were able to get the Elder with the Smolder at now 332 stacks, that could have been a really big boon. But with Baye forced back to base, LNG can really set up nicely around this Dragon Pit, make it very difficult for Ultra Prime to get in.
Because they have no AD carry, they're not really able to overload with numbers. This is just allowing LNG to kind of section off this part of the map. But now the Smolder is here. They've got to make the play. That Dragon is super low.
Zika flashing away from the cycle and getting hit up by the second proc. Almost the Mom steals it away, but Zhao Feng able to secure the Elder. And now it's Reset City in for LNG Esports. Already 2 members down. That is Jung falling before he even pops his Zanyas. And Joshua will make it casualty number 3. Surely this should mean the end of the game as LNG win the fight. They get the Elder and they can march down middle lane.
And LNG police that part of the map. They completely prevent Ultra Prime's advance as Zika's going in.
Hook doesn't land on Abaye. As actually not over just yet. It's the big carry still alive here for Ultra Prime. Baye has both of his summoner spells. It's almost 350 stacks on the Smolder, and there's no Baron buff in the hands of LNG with 13 seconds left on Junha. So this game might not actually be over just yet, but LNG want it to be as they're headed on to the Nexus turrets right now. The death timers, though, are going to continue to
don't
tick
have
down
a wave
to 0, and that means that LNG actually can't end. They will take another prize as an inhibitor, but now with Junha alive, it is going to be very difficult for them to try to go for the throat.
They still have 90 seconds on that Elder.
Hold on, Elder, Baye. Shields up nicely, will be able to stay alive, and the Needleworth comes through from Zhang. They're looking for a last-ditch effort. They find Zika with the kill, but it will be Zhang getting another one back. The Mom comes out. Baye is still untouched in the backline, but he finally will get targeted, and that'll be it. Zhao Feng and LNG end up wiping the floor with Ultra Prime. It took them a while, but a win is a win nonetheless. They go 1-up in this best-of-3 series.
It was slow to the bone there, Grapes.